How freshman legislators face challenges and barriers in a corrupt system that favors seniority, money, and influence. Being a freshman legislator in a corrupt system is not easy. Corruption is one of the most pervasive types of crime that fuels transnational crime, wastes public resources, destabilizes countries, and impedes good governance. Corruption also undermines democracy and perpetuates power for authoritarian regimes. In the United States, corruption is not endemic as it is in some other countries, but it does exist and it affects state and local governments more than the federal government. Freshman legislators face many challenges and barriers in a corrupt system that favors seniority, money, and influence. Some of these challenges and barriers are: lack of experience and knowledge. Freshman legislators may not have the expertise or the connections to navigate the complex legislative process, to draft effective bills, to build coalitions, or to deal with lobbyists and interest groups. They may also be unaware of the rules and norms of conduct, or the ethical standards and codes of their institutions. They may be vulnerable to manipulation or coercion by senior colleagues or external actors who seek to advance their own agendas. Lack of resources and support. Freshman legislators may not have enough staff, office space, budget, or access to information and research to perform their duties effectively. They may also face difficulties in communicating with their constituents, the media, or the public. They may not have enough time or opportunities to learn from mentors, peers, or experts. They may also lack the support of their party leadership, caucus, or committee chairs. Lack of influence and power. Freshman legislators may not have much say or impact on the legislative agenda, the policy outcomes, or the oversight functions of their institutions. They may be marginalized or ignored by senior colleagues who control the decision-making process, the committee assignments, or the floor time. They may also face resistance or hostility from entrenched interests who oppose their reforms or initiatives. Lack of accountability and transparency. Freshman legislators may not have enough mechanisms or incentives to monitor and report on corruption in their institutions or in their jurisdictions. They may also face obstacles or risks in exposing or challenging corruption by senior colleagues or external actors. They may encounter legal loopholes, political pressures, partisan biases, media censorship, public apathy, or personal threats. These challenges and barriers can discourage freshman legislators from pursuing their goals and ideals, or from representing their constituents faithfully. They can also erode their integrity and credibility, or compromise their values and principles. They can also undermine their effectiveness and legitimacy as lawmakers and public servants. In this section, we will look at how some freshman legislators are implicated in deed fraud, bribery, or other scandals that undermine public trust and accountability. One example is Rep. David Rivera, a Republican from Florida. He was elected in 2010, but soon faced multiple investigations into his finances and ethics. He allegedly funneled money to himself, his family, and his friends through a dog track and his mother's consulting firm. He also lied repeatedly on financial disclosure forms about his income and loans. He lost his re-election bid in 2012 and was indicted on 15 charges. In another example is Rep. Mavita Harold Johnson, a Democrat from Pennsylvania. She was elected in 2019, but resigned after less than a year in office. She pleaded guilty to theft and other charges for stealing more than $500,000 from her charity for personal use. She used the money to pay for vacations, luxury clothing, car payments, and real estate taxes. She was sentenced to 3 months in prison and 8.5 months of house arrest. A third example is Sen. Mike Fomer, a Republican from Pennsylvania. He was elected in 2006 and served as the chairman of the State Government Committee. He was arrested in 2019 for possessing child pornography on his personal cell phone. He resigned from office and pleaded guilty to 3 counts of possession of child pornography and 1 count of criminal use of a communications facility. He was sentenced to 1 to 2 years in prison and 8 years of probation. These are just some of the cases of freshman legislators who have been involved in scandals that have tarnished their reputation and betrayed the public trust. They show how some politicians abuse their power and privilege for personal gain or gratification, without regard for the law or the people they represent.